Next, delivering the thesis, Own the Friend Zone, Why Classical Friendship is an Essential Element in Christian Marriage, please welcome Shyler Sweitzer.
Church bells, singing and echoing through the hall, doves soaring skyward, rose petals romantically scattered down the aisle. It was the big day, and there stood the radiant bride at the altar, clutching the groom's hand in her own and her vows with the other. They looked upon each other, paying no mind to the sniffling friends and family members who sat enchanted in their seats. With a squeeze to her partner's fingers and through happy tears, she reads off the last of her vows, proclaiming, "Today is the day that I marry my best friend." The guests sigh in awe. All who witnessed this beautiful day predicted a long-lasting, loving marriage. And the bride herself praised the Lord, for she had found a forever friend. But as the years went by and the term newlyweds lost its luster, the inevitable hardships and responsibilities of marriage took their toll. The wife was exhausted from caring for the children, and the husband worked to the bone to provide. Tired, their evenings quickly digressed into bitter arguments. "You're never home for the kids. You don't know how hard I work. You're tearing this family apart." And we're left to wonder, what went wrong? In a marriage once vowed to be the closest of loving friendships, there remains no trace of that promise. Did the marital demands of raising and providing for the family cause friendship to fall apart? Or was friendship set apart from marriage to begin with? Can and should friendship and marriage exist as one? In order to understand what friendship is, we can look to the rich history of classical scholars who have grappled with its definition. In Nicomachean Ethics, Greek philosopher Aristotle contends that true friendship is the friendship of those who are good and equal in virtue, as they desire the same virtue for one another, insofar as they themselves are good. This model has since been accepted in classical tradition as the philosophical exemplar for friendship. Aristotle's model inspired philosopher and theologian Thomas Aquinas to address friendship in his Summa Theologica. Aquinas sets friendship as equivalent to the Christian virtue of caritas, otherwise known as charity. This is man's selfless love for mankind, man's love towards God, and likewise, God's love towards man. So as Christians, how might we consider this virtuous model in our model for marriage? Although friendship and marriage may be viewed as relationships that are different by nature and fulfill separate roles, I argue that the pursuit and cultivation of true virtuous friendship is a necessary priority in marriage, as it encourages couples to be unified in their growth in faith towards sanctification and allows husband and wife to exemplify the image of Christ's love for the church. Firstly, virtuous friendship encourages couples to be unified in their faith, therefore allowing them to urge one another towards sanctification. Aristotle claims that a defining feature of virtuous friendship is the mutual pursuit in excellence, a desire to push one another towards excellence. Similarly, in his book, The Four Loves, author C.S. Lewis provides us with an analogy for friendship, where he depicts two friends standing side by side, with their focus on a horizon of common interest, Their bond and their unity grows stronger as they pursue those interests further. As Christians, this excellence, this horizon, this end goal is our sanctification before Christ. And in marriage, that holds twice the weight. Genesis 2, verse 24, God decrees that women and men be joined together as two souls made one flesh. This unity implies a unique responsibility in marriage for husband and wife to encourage one another in the faith. And by nature, friendship encourages unity in all pursuits of excellence. In marriage, this unity together towards sanctification is key, as we must hold one another accountable in our faith, so that together before God, we are prepared in our holiness. Further, virtuous friendship has a love that would edify marriage to more clearly bear the image of Christ's love for his bride, the church. Ephesians 5:22 commands, "Wives, be subject to your husbands as unto the Lord." Later, verse 25 commands, "Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her." God carefully designed the roles for marriage to mirror Christ's love for us. But to exemplify that image, husband and wife must be humble in fulfilling their roles and love one another in a Christ-like, selfless way. Virtuous friendship builds up both humility and selfless love. Thomas Aquinas makes this clear when he sets friendship as equivalent to the virtue of caritas. Caritas, the virtue that encompasses Christ's selfless love, is also seen in a true friend's selfless, charitable care for another. As Aristotle once said, "Those who wish goods to their friend for their friend's own sake are true friends most of all." When marriage embraces this selflessness, husband and wife willingly submit to their roles, then benefiting the household and the family. It is the role of husband or wife to walk with one another here on earth so that one day they can walk together sanctified before the Lord. And friendship helps us to edify this image of Christ and the church to get us there. In our modern world, some may argue that the closest possible friendships are found outside of marriage, specifically in friendships of the same sex. For example, feminists have talked often about the importance of the female friendship, further birthing the modern image of sisterhood and feminine solidarity. Thus, women can bond over the uniquenesses and struggles that only other women can understand. Though I do not deny the inherent differences between man and women, I argue that this friendship is based on a sense of likeness and thus serves the purpose of personal validation, therefore not making it a virtuous friendship. In comparison, marriage provides the ultimate environment for virtuous friendship, which is unique to this union alone. Aristotle once claimed that there was a virtue unique to husband and wife which makes their bond enjoyable to one another. Professor of theology, Dr. Scott Heffelfinger, upon looking at the context of this claim, defines this virtue to be the virtue cultivated within their domestic partnership. It is the role of husband or wife to push one another to excellence throughout all of the vulnerable and hardships of life. Husband and wife must love and trust one another through all stages of marriage, which we all know are not always easy. Once again, they are in charge of encouraging excellence and virtue and their walks in faith through the difficulties of life, which is a commitment and a friendship like no other. When you think of your best friend, what comes to mind? Not who, what? What is so important in this title, once beaded onto friendship bracelets and gifted to the lucky few? I argue that many in our modern day have lost its meaning. As C.S. Lewis once said, to the ancients, friendship seemed the happiest and most fully human of all loves, the crown of life and the school of virtue. Our modern world, in comparison, ignores it. Our modern world, so steeped in selfishness, has lost friendship. Virtuous friendship is key to marriage. It is friendship that encourages husband and wife to stick together in faith. It is friendship that allows husband and wife to be the image of God's glorious love for us. Don't let friendship become a broken vow. A strong friendship provides an even stronger foundation on which we are called to build a faithful life together as husband and wife, best friends for life. Thank you.